Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm tangled up with the dogs. It's not quite as cold as it has been, which is really nice. So today I've got an update on the Wagner case, the 10-week-old Wagner trial. Yeah, and a new trial set for January. There's a hearing today, but this case is 20 plus years old. You are not going to want to miss this update. Stay tuned. Crafting Journey here, that Journey Chick on Instagram, and on my second YouTube channel, I am known as The Leftovers. There should be a new video up today where I go to the bins, the Goodwill outlet. We call them the bins, you know, in the biz, we call them the bins, like I'm in the biz. Anyway, check that out later today. Anyhow, the link to that is down in the description. Welcome back to the channel. Don't forget to hit the like button today on your way in or out so you can see if you enjoy the content. If you do, make sure you consider subscribing. I don't charge you. It's free. But if you would like to donate to the channel, you can become a member or make a one-time donation by hitting that super thanks that's somewhere down in the bottom there. Anyway, welcome back to the channel. Such a week that we had last week. Everything was wrapping up in a nice little bow. Well, the bow is a little wrinkly at times, but the George Wagner case is still going on. Week 10. Okay, it's kind of sort of going on. Here's what's happening. As you know, this week is Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. Turkey, 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 turkey. Yeah, I'm silly. Okay, sorry. Anyway, that's just me. I'm not like the other crime people that are all serious. No. Okay. So, I don't know what I was talking about. Oh, George Wagner. 10 weeks and Friday, finally, prosecution rests, defense rests. The last witness they put on was George Wagner. So he was the last witness. And I explained what his testimony included. It wasn't me. I didn't know anything about it. It wasn't me. Everybody's lying. I'm the only one telling the truth. Here's the thing, though. He is sitting in front of a jury of his peers from this rural area of, where are they? I'm not even sure at this point. I have to look it up. But it's very rural. And these are a jury of his peers. And they may think, hey, you know, maybe he didn't do it. Or maybe, you know, the prosecution has to prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt. And their case against George was very, very, very weak at best. So nothing will surprise me when it comes to a verdict in this case. So what's happening today, you ask? What's happening with the jury? They're home or working their regular jobs, I suspect, getting ready for Thanksgiving. The judge has excused the jury for the entire week because they're not going to have court Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday anyway because it's a holiday. And, you know, some of these jurors may have had travel plans, you know, who knows? So, you know, you don't want to interfere with that. So the jury in the Wagner case is not coming back till November 28th, next week, next Monday. Oh my God, this month has just flown by. What in the world? So this morning, they are in court, though, because they are continuing. The prosecution is, so maybe the prosecution has arrested. I don't know. They're still putting evidence in. Well, I'm saying it wrong. I realized I was saying they are putting exhibits into the evidence. That's the proper way to say it. And I apologize. I wasn't saying it right last week. And I know what right is, you know, anyway. And then they're going to argue the jury instructions. Now, that could take all day today. It could take all day tomorrow. So that's what they're doing. they also need to argue, the defense has to argue their motion that the prosecution hasn't proved their case beyond a reasonable doubt, and, the court should enter judgment in favor of the defendant, and it never, very, very rarely ever happens that a judge will grant this motion. But it has to be made to preserve appeals. So they're making this motion. That'll be heard either today or tomorrow, whenever they can get to it. None of it needs to be in front of a jury. None of what they're doing needs to be in front of a jury. And it's going to be long, and it's going to be exhaustive. And if you want to watch it on YouTube, have fun, because I'm not going to watch it. It's so incredibly boring. So there is a new trial, and I say new meaning it's it's the second time this guy has been tried. So it's not new for him. It'll be new for us. So he's going to go on trial in January of 2023. There's so many trials that are supposed to happen in January. We shall see. This fellow's name is Mark Jensen. This is for a case that happened in 1998. He was arrested for murdering and allegedly murdered his wife. Her name was Julie Jensen. It's alleged that he gave her antifreeze, and then when she wasn't dying fast enough, he smothered her with a pillow. So why are we here 20 years later? Good question. Glad you asked. Because the first trial took place in 2002, and he was convicted. Now, in that first trial, evidence was used where his wife had written a letter saying, if something happens to me and I die, make sure you look at him. And she gives it to a neighbor. And she also does some recordings, like, if something happens to me, it's him. If I'm dead, it's him. And she gives those recordings to the police. So those come into the trial. Well, the appellate court hears this on appeal. He gets convicted. The appellate court, he gets a life sentence. The appellate court hears it on appeal. Oh, did I mention this case is in Wisconsin? Same case as our friend, Mr. Brooks. So he is convicted. He appeals. The appellate court says he gets a new trial. This evidence should not have come in because he did not. This violates his Sixth Amendment right to cross-examine his accusers. And the judge in the first, in the original trial let it in because he said, listen, see, you killed her. Of course she can't testify against you. Of course you can't cross-examine her because you killed her. Which seems logical to me, but the appellate court said no. So new trial. Then that was reversed and said, no, the original conviction stands. Then the Supreme Court heard it, not of the United States, but of that Wisconsin. They hear it and they say, no, can't use that evidence. You need a new trial. So that's 20 years later. 20 years from now, you're going to see Mr. Brooks in a trial. And he's going to be representing himself. So this guy's represented by the public defender, Mark Jensen. And this is 20 years later. He has been in jail now for 20 years. And without that evidence, it says most of the other evidence looks very exculpatory. Like, he could get off on this. He is claiming that she set him up, that she killed herself and she set him up. She set it up to look like he killed her. Now, I'm trying to, yes, I get drinking the antifreeze, but what about smothering? You don't smother yourself with a pillow. I'm curious what that medical examiner had to say about this death. That'll be interesting. Now, it's gone through several prosecutors. The original prosecutor is now a district attorney and is running to become a judge. And, of course, it's not going to be the original public defender. Nobody stays in a public defender's office for 20 plus years. Well, that's not true. Some people do, but it's very rare. Most people go on to have careers outside of the public domain. In any case, this is going to be an interesting trial. when it occurs in January. So what's happening today? How did this come on my radar? There was a hearing today. 17 motions of the defense. And I will listen to the hearing and bring you the highlights of that tomorrow. I started watching it this morning because I was just being really lazy. Didn't want to get out of bed. I was like, oh, feels so good. Let me just watch YouTube. Anyway, the first motion that he ruled on had to do with the defense doesn't want the prosecution to use the word victim. And the judge is like, well, according to Marcy's law, victims have rights and they're allowed to be called victim. Now, we're not going to use the word victim every other sentence, but the prosecutors are skilled at knowing when to use the term and when to not use the term. So he brushed over that. And then the next question, the defense was, can the jury ask questions? And the judge is like, no, this trial's going to be very long. We're not going to prolong it by allowing the jurors to ask questions. He says, I'm confident that prosecutors know the right questions to ask, and we're going to stick with that. So I haven't listened to the rest of it. The last time I tuned in, he was chastising the defense for what he called unacceptable. I don't know. I'll have to listen to it and bring it to you tomorrow. It's going to be interesting. So, wow. Quick show, right? Quick show. Coffee. So you can see I am working on my diamond painting is back in front of me. Have not picked up the miniature. Probably won't. So I just have this part here. I say just. It's the sky. It goes very quickly. It's just a lot of color blocking here. You see several different colors of blue, but large chunks of it, which is nice. It'll go quickly. Versus an area like this where you have to change your colors quite often. So the other thing I want to do on the channel is I need to kit up the painting that I'm going to start in January. And the reason I want to do it so early is because I want to pick out the special drills that I'm going to need to order from Diamond Painting Drills, which is, I am an affiliate for. The link to that is down in the description. But there's so much I want to do. I'm going to be doing a painting called The Dragon's Door because I'm doing the Year of Fantasy next year. I always have a themed year. The first time I did it, it was the Year of Alice, where I'm looking at all these Alice in Wonderland paintings that I did. This year was the Year of Landscapes. This is a Christmas landscape. Next year, January, we'll start the Year of Fantasy. So I'm starting out with a painting called The Dragon's Door, and it's the coolest painting ever, but it's a door and it's got some mystical aspects to it. And then it's got the dragon. It just screams for special drills. So I want to kit that up, figure out where I want to put them, what drills I want to use, and then I want to get them ordered. So I can start that in January. Yep. That's what I'm going to do in January. What else is going on? That is the show for today. I know, short, sweet. I do apologize. Not a lot going on, really and truly. But I do want to film me kitting up this kit, the one I just talked about. So you'll get that. And don't forget, I have a new video that'll be up on my leftover channel this afternoon, so check that out as well. And you guys have a wonderful Monday. If you are into gaming, I was streaming Disney's Dreamlight Valley last night. It's just something I do a couple times a week to break up the crime. We can't have so much seriousness, can we? Okay. I love you all. Thank you for watching, and I will see you tomorrow in Crafting and Crime Daily. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.